Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Ashmore Law Firm Google Plus Hangout. We've done quite a few of these. Oh, you should be on network television.
No, I love it.
I mean, right? I mean, this is awesome. This is an interesting topic. The most common ways social media can ruin your life. Thank you, by the way, and all the way from Houston, Texas, coming in on the show. Thanks for joining us. We got Gary, we have Amy, and we have Christy, and of course, Lori Ashmore. So, you're an attorney. There's a lot of ways to ruin your life in law. This is kind of a fascinating one because social media is somewhat new.
It is.
A couple of years, but people don't realize that you can actually ruin your life by things you say. You can be held accountable.
You can be held accountable, and I mean, it's not just for the legal aspect of things. It's just for your everyday living. We see so many times, and you see stories about it all the time, where you've got kids that have scholarships. Mm-hmm. And whether it's a football scholarship or a sports scholarship, and because of what they're tweeting or what they're posting on their Facebook or Instagram, whatever it is, some of those scholarships have been taken away from them.
Wow.
You've got employers that look to social media. If they're thinking about hiring someone, they're looking at all of that now, and you have had some that have lost their jobs over what they've said.
And we'll get into specifics of that in a minute. But we'll talk generalities first, and then kind of specific, some things really recent that have been happening that are kind of interesting. Why does it matter, quite frankly? Well, what does it matter if you say something online? Why should that affect your life?
It matters. Anything, you know what, in this day and age, anything you say matters. Whether you say it verbally, but more importantly, when you put it in writing, because it lasts forever and it's with you forever. I have a lot of people that, we love our cell phones. Mm-hmm. And we text,
right,
and we hit delete thinking, it's gone. It's not gone.
Really? Uh-oh.
We can get.
So that's just not social media. We're talking about texting.
Texting, email. Even if you hit delete, I promise someone can get to it, and they will, especially when you're dealing with the legalities of it and that aspect. Be able to, I think he's got some personal, case experience on people that have texted and
okay, let's hear that one. Then we'll talk more social media, but this is kind of topical right now, texting. Gary, what kind of problems have people that you can't say names of it, but give us an example of how you can get in trouble texting.
Well, let's hold on. Let me back up a minute, because you talked about, or Lori had mentioned about losing your job. And Amy is kind of our resident Mavericks fan, and I know that we have our friend from Houston who is stepping in, listening with us, or participating. But Amy, share with us kind of what happened with that gentleman that got fired down in Houston.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up too. Their social media guy, and the last couple of seconds of our game that ended our season, he decided to tweet out something that a lot of people didn't like, and the next day he lost his job over it. So when people think that what they say on social media, even if you're doing it through your employer and you think that you can't lose your job, you definitely can, and he did.
Yeah, and he did, and the story, just for anybody that doesn't know, it was someone that's running the Houston, their actual brand page, the Houston Rockets brand page. He tweeted out this, what did he say? Just close your eyes, it'll be all over soon, and he showed a gun pointing at a horse. So not a very smart move on his part, and that's especially for a brand. And what do you think about that? I'm just curious, because you're from Houston. Did you think that was funny, or did you think that crossed the line?
No, I did. I felt like that crossed the line because, if he's representing the brand, that may be okay if an individual fan said that, and somebody might think it was funny, but he was representing the Rockets brand, and I really think that crossed a line. And so I actually think they're in their rights to have fired him.
That's exactly right. Now, we love the viewers come on and ask questions, and we'll talk more stuff. I'll ask questions, obviously. What kind of question do you have for the attorneys here at the Ashmore Law Firm?
Me? I don't have any at the moment. I don't have any at the moment.
Okay, we'll just keep talking then, and then if you want to ask a question, just raise your hand or put it in the chat as well.
Absolutely.
There were some other ones that happened. Let's go into specific examples. One lady gets a job for a daycare, and the first thing she says is, "I need a job, and I hate working at a daycare. Not necessarily the best thing to say going into a job that you hate working there. She did not even make it to the job.
No.
Why do people do that? I mean, maybe we don't need to get into that. But do you think that the company had a right to fire her right away before she got there?
In my opinion, yes. I mean, why do you want someone there that, number one, doesn't want to work there? And people just really need to be careful and think about what they put out there in writing. As attorneys, we're always careful. I mean, obviously. I think social media is so easy and it's off the cuff and people are emotional and they're just, typing away and getting it out there. You better think twice before you hit send.
Right. And then let me ask you this. Do you think, as attorneys, have y'all thought about this? There's some potential, I don't want to say business, but there's going to be a lot more cases, social media cases involved. You have one that was kind of interesting, not necessarily, but it happened in New York, or a divorce deal. Tell us that situation that happened, where the lady tracked down her husband or something through Facebook.
Well, Gary, I don't know. What was that? Whether she was allowed to be served or he was allowed to be served?
This is a great story.
Family law expert,
yeah, Gary, so what happened on that?
Right. We did a whole piece on that, and it was a young lady who was having a hard time getting her husband served. However, he was active on Facebook. So she actually went to the court and asked for what's called a substituted service, and the judge actually allowed her to serve him via Facebook through a post. It's only a matter of time before we try that here in Texas, and in fact, I have one of my associates doing some research on that to see if it has already been tried, because the code is real vague that you can serve them in any way or means possible. Social media is not excluded. We've had several cases even on the personal injury side, and here's where most people need to be careful. Even though you've got your settings set to private on Facebook, we had a fellow who fell off some scaffolding, 6-figure case. He injured himself pretty seriously. The problem was the insurance company was a little bit smarter and went to his social website, his Facebook pages, and there were pictures of him, not that he posted, they were pictures that friends posted at other events that he just happened to be at in the background, and they were pictures of him water skiing and him jumping off rocks swimming, and that 6-figure case went dramatically down, and you can literally lose a case that way. On
That's
the family
amazing.
law side,
So do you think this is going to happen now in legal situations where you're in court, that people can actually show evidence of Facebook posts and stuff?
it's exactly what we're doing. I can't tell you how many times I am offering into evidence people's tweets, their Facebook pages, screenshot of their texts, and the court doesn't require much to authenticate them, which means allow them into exhibits for the judge or the jury to take into consideration.
Wow, that's amazing.
The other thing I want to say is, there's people are always like, ooh, let me pay you $1 and we have attorney-client privilege. You have attorney-client privilege, so you're my client. I cannot talk to anyone about what you and I discuss.
Right.
We've had instances though with emails. If you forward that email to someone, there's a potential that you have broken attorney-client privilege, which means now potentially it's just wide open.
Wow.
And I know, Gary, you and I and Amy, we were talking about that a little bit before the Google Hangout.
So I guess, I love social media, obviously. I love being on it. I post whatever I want. I don't really care. So I'm opinionated.
Wait, well,
in a fun way.
Wait, I
my
have to
point
say,
is,
well, your kids, your daughter,
yeah.
the posts that us parents post of our kids right now when they're young, pulling tantrums.
Yes,
I've seen some
I
of
do
those
that.
of yours.
I love it.
They may come back to haunt us one of these days.
I know, but I'll worry about it down the road. The point is, I guess when you always got to be careful, but I think you really got to be careful if you're in trial, if you're going through a divorce. It seems like in those situations, you should be maybe almost deactivating accounts or just not doing stuff. Is that fair to say that?
You just need to be careful what you write. I mean, we're in such a litigious society that people sue, and you just need to be careful. Think twice before you hit send.
Do you think in the future there could be more, like, honestly, like, let's say I post a picture, I'm out at a fair. I post a picture of someone else, just a wide shot, and I say, oh my gosh, look at this funny lady. I mean, and I'm ripping her, and she sees it. She could sue me for slander. Have we thought about that? Do you think there's going to be more Facebook-type lawsuits and stuff?
Gary?
Oh, absolutely. Like I say, we're seeing it in the family law and the personal injury realm on a daily basis. It's making and breaking cases. You know, we see a lot of spouses when they're going through divorce and they're deleting their texts, thinking, oh, well, I'll just delete them and they're gone. They're not. You can subpoena them. You can get back to them. Their phone still houses their deleted texts. I mean, you just got to be careful.
Well, and not only that, but look in the news, that deputy that is getting reamed up one side and down the other by the department for taking a picture with Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
I mean, you never know, and I don't know what the answer is.
Okay, Ann has a question from Houston. Ann, what is your question?
So back to what you were saying, Chris, about you know, snapping the photo of the people out, say like at a stadium or whatever. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Yes, I can hear you.
So being a former professional photographer, the law or the rule, I guess, the standard was that if you were at a public facility and there was no expectation of privacy, you could snap that photo. So where does that play in you know, if somebody snaps that photo and then posts it on Facebook and makes fun of this person? I mean, there wasn't any expectation of privacy in this public facility.
Great question. I can actually throw this, and I'll let you, but being a sportscaster, I do know that on the tickets it says, once you're in the stadium, we have rights to use any of your images. We can photo you,
Right.
we can video you. So when there's
Absolutely.
notices like that, you're agreeing to anything. Is that
You
fair?
are, and I believe in that, but then you may be in some place that you think is public. I mean, I volunteer, and because we're around kids, I have to be careful on the pictures that I snap and what I post.
Mm-hmm.
And
Sure,
so
of
you
But a sporting event is
have to be
different.
aware. Sporting
I think
events-
sporting events is different.
Yeah, I mean, when minors are involved, and then obviously that's going to be a whole different ball game. But if it's adults, people of age, then you know, where's the line drawn?
Gary, what do you think? Or Lori, what do you think?
I mean, you know, I think that I think honestly, and Gary, correct me if you think I'm wrong, but I think what used to be black and white now may start to get a little grayer.
I agree that if you're in a public location, that yes, you are susceptible to that. As a photographer, I agree that you know, if you're doing stadium shots, here's where the problem comes in. It's not so much that anything was wrong with the picture or the people that were in it. We had a case just this last week where father was taking child out of school with sick notes and telling mom and the school that was the case. Well, mom finds out because front page of the newspaper the following day, the child's up at one of the World Series games these last World Series group. So the point is getting him in trouble for falsifying records to the school to take the daughter out. So that's where it's being used.
Huh. I remember Ferris Bueller's Day Off when he was in the video of the Cubs game. Similar deal. That was way before social media. We'll wrap this up pretty soon. Where do you think this is going? Is it fun? Is it interesting, scary?
It's all of the above. It's all of the above. I know I personally think twice before I hit send.
Right. And you have to.
You have
it's
to.
You know, I always tell people, you know, back when I was in television, we'd be on a commercial break and we had our mics still deal. And I know people would say the craziest things, and I'd be like, don't you think, Yates? And I'm like, you're the most talkative guy. Why aren't you talking? I'm like, to me, the mic is always on. So I'm used to social media because of being in television. I was on live television. I always believe that the mic is always on. So if people that are doing Facebook that are like, oh, it's not going to get me in trouble, you are now on live television at all the time. So anything you post is public. So always remember, the mic is always on.
And what else is, it's not something that's going to, you know, come back to haunt you today, but it may be something that you did years ago, you know, 5, 10, 15 years ago.
That's what's scary.
Yeah, right. That someone, you know, finds and it's.
That's right, because we're documenting our whole lives. Where if you said something in public 5 years ago and there was no social media, you just said at a party, people forgot it.
Right.
But now it's documented.
Yes.
Okay, great question from someone on Twitter. Can you discuss the ways to protect yourself?
Be careful what.
Be smart.
Be smart.
Don't be an idiot. That's always a good thing to do.
Here's what I'm going to say. If you're about to hit send and you hesitate, there's a reason why you're hesitating, so just delete it. Don't send it. Think about it.
And never tweet or post photos at 2 a.m. at a bar. That's always a bad sign. Gary, what about you? What do you think are some ways to protect yourself?
Yeah, no, it just comes down to just don't do it. I mean, I can't tell you, we even as attorneys have to be careful. Emails certainly can be hacked. Anything that you assume is being attorney-client privileged between you and your client, if that client chooses to share or forward that email out along with those documents, it automatically becomes public, and no longer does that privilege attach. Same with employment. I can tell you how many, even employees that I've interviewed, potential employees, first place I go is their Facebook page. First place I go to Facebook when I'm looking at a potential client. I want to know what I'm dealing with. So you really got to just be careful and assume that what you put out there is for everyone to see.
Okay, and here's some specific examples too.
What? So here's what I'm going to say. Can you protect yourself 100%? No, but and nothing's foolproof. But just a couple of things is, be careful of the photos and videos you have on your social media. Have of you that they're posting to their social media. Always check your privacy settings. Even though you know how they're set, double check your privacy settings. You might want to block certain people from being able to get to your photos and videos.
That's true.
You know what? And search for your name. Search for your name and see what pops up. Because if you can find it, anyone else can find it. And then a big one is never accept a friend request from someone you don't know.
I do that daily. But I'm in marketing. I got to do that.
You are. Well, or even from social media sites that you don't know. Just be proactive and be smart.
Okay. Hello, Ryan. Thanks for joining us. Ryan's here now. That's awesome. So, Ryan, just to catch you up, we're talking about social media and things you can do that can really harm you. We've talked about the Houston Rockets Twitter guy being fired over a silly tweet that he made because he was representing the brand. A mom that just got a job at a daycare, and she posted on Facebook that same day, I can't believe I hate working at a daycare. We had a husband being tracked down through Facebook. So some really interesting examples on social media, and I think it's going to continue. These are just starting to come out. I think it's going to grow.
It's going to grow, and I can't even remember what it was. I think it was either end of last year. It was UT.
Yeah.
Someone in the marketing department had misspelled their their website or something like that, and it's that simple mistake that was overlooked that went completely
It was a media
viral.
guide. It was a media guide, and every page had the wrong spelling of like Texas University or something.
It was something, and so I mean, it went viral. It went viral, and that's what is there. That will always be there for UT.
What do you think, Gary?
I concur.
Yeah, talked about it before, and Ryan's just joined the party. We're going to sign off here in a minute, but we want him to be a part of the conversation. So I'm going to let him be part of this deal. Let's talk about just to recap some of the stuff that he may have missed. You talked about social media, how it can harm you. Why does it really matter what you post? I mean, people can have fun. Why all of a sudden is this becoming a bigger issue?
It's society.
Okay.
I mean, it is. It's society, and people are just need to be careful what they say in this day and age. Now, in 10 years, it may be completely different. If social media would have occurred 10 years earlier, it was completely different.
I guess it's in the same way. You're hiring someone for a job, or you're getting a recruit in college football. And if they do something at a party really crazy, or they get a DWI, or they get something, that's a reflection on their character, so people don't want to hire that. But if people accept it, that people understand that. People aren't understanding why social media, but it's really the same thing. This is a real world now. We talk about being virtual. This is real life. This is like live.
It's live, and it's even, I mean, as a law firm or as a company or as a school, those people are representing you. They're not just representing themselves. I'm not just representing myself, Lori Ashmore Peters. I'm representing the Ashmore Law Firm. And so not only does it hurt me and my friends and family, but it can hurt the company. And because, everything is about personal relationships these days, social media is great for that.
Gary, we're about to wrap up here. Any closing thoughts you want to make about this topic?
No, just if you don't want it to be, exposed to the public and every eye looking at you to be scrutinized, just don't do it. It's the bottom line.
Okay. How about you, Amy? You've been quiet over there. What do you think about all this? Amy, can you hear us okay?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, I think...
Do you want to
Sorry,
make a closing statement about all this?
I think she's high.
Oh, just hi, Ryan. Okay. Well, anyway, we appreciate everyone being on. That was kind of an interesting topic. Thank y'all. Thank you for a bigger audience and everybody watching on YouTube. Remember, Ashmore Law Firm does these once a month. Plus, you can go to ashmorelawfirm.com. You'll have information about all kinds of stuff.
Yes.
So people can get free information. Plus, you can check out our YouTube channel, get all this great information. We really appreciate y'all doing this, by the way.
And if there's anything that y'all want us to discuss or listen or hear about, let us know.
Yeah, we're actually
Reach out to us.
we're always looking for great topics. All right, everybody, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next month.